It's a great day to be alive and an artist. My name is Matt with the Hat, and today we are going to talk about our temper tantrums. So in our last episode, we started talking about different changes that are starting to occur as you continue to do your artist state, as you continue to do your morning pages. And we talked about how things are going to change and all of this wonderful thing. I wanted to really quickly read a couple of quotes from Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way. Quote number 1, if you want to work on your art, work on your life. Quote number 2, until we experience the freedom of solitude, we cannot connect authentically. We may be enmeshed, but we are not encountered. Art lies at the moment of encounter. We become original because we become something specific, an origin from which work flows. Next quote, and this is my favorite. You are your own promised land, your own new frontier. Isn't that beautiful? You are your own promised land, your own new frontier. So things are changing, things are starting to grow. We're starting to get a little scared of the things that are happening. And there's this thing, and I mentioned when we're going to talk about temper tantrums. And so things are changing, and we've been on this path, right? And so I've directed many shows and many musicals. And the temper tantrum is often not exactly a temper tantrum, right? There's a word that they use in the book called kriya. I probably mispronounced that. It's Kriya. It's a Sanskrit word. And so I directed, when I was young, I learned to do everything pretty much by myself. Didn't learn how to do sound, but I did lighting. I did sets, some costumes, directed the show. I did a lot. And we would get into tech week, and I was staying up all night, and then having rehearsal and working during the day. And I think I was about 27, and it was around, something happened. I don't remember exactly what caused it, but I had been burning the candle at both ends, and I had a seizure. One of the first of many, where I've learned now that when I overwhelm myself, when I overdo things, that a seizure is gonna occur. And so I have to try to keep as balanced as I can. If I don't sleep enough, if I don't do and this is what a kriya is, or a kriya. I like kriya better just because of cry. And this is like when we've got a deadline that's so unreasonable, and we push our bodies to the limit, and our body throws a temper tantrum on us, right? And we get sick, right? We've all had that moment happen. Push, and either right before it or right after it, we get the flu, right? We're pushing our bodies, and we're pushing our mind. We're not having enough fun, and we're not treating ourselves with kindness. We're not giving affirmations. We're just living for the work. We're not working to live. We're living to work. And then our body rebels and says, okay, fine. You don't want to rest? Boom, here you go. You're gonna lay down until you are fully rested. And this is something that will occur as these changes begin to occur. This is something that as you begin to realize what you want, see, some phrases are going to start entering your head, entering your mouth, like, I don't want that, right? Or I want this, or this is okay, or this is not okay. These very defining things where you are in touch with yourself, those are going to start to emerge, right? And as that occurs, and as that is going on, when you rebel against those things, your body is going to react. Your body may react when you do what it wants, right? But it definitely is going to react when you don't do what it wants. The reason I say it may happen when you do what it wants is because it's foreign. Like we spend here in the USA, we spend so much time ignoring our feelings and ignoring what we believe and what we think and what we feel, that when we actually express it and we actually let it out, then it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much there. There's so much there. And so this krya could happen after you finally start to let go. But it's definitely going to happen when you're not listening to your body, when you're not listening to yourself, and when you're listening to all the other people around you, and you're listening to what their instinct for what you're doing is instead of listening to your own. And that's a hard thing, because we even have our creative champions in our life that they're like, do this thing. This is what works for me. And they're really genuinely trying to help. But ultimately, the artist is responsible for her or his own work. And what might work in my process is definitely not going to work in my partner's process. What works in my process is definitely not going to work in your process. There are things that I'm going to be able to add that is going to give invaluable insight into it. But the more you know your voice and the more you let your voice express, the better you're going to be. Yeah. So I'm going to go through some exercises with you here to help on this. One other little side note on this krya thing and on these things is as you continue on this creative recovery, as you continue on these morning pages, that's what I've been going on and on about. As you become consistent, as it becomes part of your life, your dreams are going to become more vivid. Your waking dreams are even going to become more vivid, where it's like, oh, this is what I want and all of this. But let's go through an exercise. And the exercise is from the Artist's Way, and it's called Buried Dreams. All right. So we're going to go and we're going to, like we've been doing on the writing stuff, right? We're going to free associate. You're going to write as fast as you can, and you can write as long as you want on all these too. It doesn't have to be one sentence long. All right. So this is called Buried Dreams, and Buried Dreams exercise number 1 is list 5 hobbies that sound fun, right? Go, 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 go. List them. Maybe it's editing movies. Maybe it's sculpting. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's playing a violin. Maybe it's composing music. I don't know. What are those 5 things? Maybe it's playing video games. I mean, those are all valid, right? Number 2, list 5 classes that sound fun. So like, for example, maybe you're really into graphic design and you want to take a computer class, right? The dance class, a singing class. I think a lot of people want to take singing classes. What are 5 classes that sound fun to you personally? Ooh, here's a fun one. Number 3, list 5 things that you personally would never do that sounds fun. Now, what could that be? Could it be that you're afraid of the water, but going kayaking sounds fun? Could it be that you really want to try bungee jumping or skydiving? Or could it be something simple? It sounds interesting to go and sing in front of people by doing karaoke. It could be anything, but list those 5 things, right? Next one. Ooh, this one's fun. List 5 skills that you would love to have, right? So I grew up very much in the theater, and one of the skills that I never really learned, because I didn't want to be like my brother, is I never really learned how to catch or throw a ball. And that is one of those like things that I can easily learn how to do, that I missed out on. And so maybe it's something you missed out on. Maybe it's something you've never tried, but you're like, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in learning how to shoot a movie, right? Maybe that's one of yours. That's one of mine. Number 5 is list 5 things that you used to enjoy doing. Now, this can be from your childhood. This could be from 5 years ago. It could be from a month ago. It doesn't matter. 5 things that you used to enjoy doing, right? Free associate that thing, right? Maybe you used to enjoy golfing, right? But you stopped. Maybe you used to enjoy going clubbing and you stopped because you have kids and there's no time for that. Whatever that thing is that you used to enjoy doing, there's 5 of them. List 5 things that you used to enjoy doing. And this one's fun. List 5 silly things that you want to try at least once in your life. So some people call this the bucket list. And you know, it could be anything. I remember one of the things, this was years and years and years ago. One of the things that was something that I wanted to do, but hadn't ever done before, was go to New York. And once I decided to go, because it seemed like it was this far away thing, and I remember that trip. It was beautiful. My dad was ill. He had congestive heart failure, and so I invited him to go with me to New York. And I mean, we stayed in a hostel. Like, I mean, we were really thugging it out, at least for me. And my dad, who was not the healthiest, he would have to like pause every once in a while, and he would have to catch his breath and different things like that. He got to join me in my world, and I saw my first Broadway shows with my dad. And for many years, and this is going to start happening again soon, for many years, I went like on Thanksgiving, I went on Christmas, and I went about 3 times a year to New York. Hawaii was another one. My brother lives in Hawaii, and for years it was this far away thing until I went. And so maybe it's this, what is that? What are those 5 things that you're like, I'm going to at least try this once in my life? Maybe it is the scuba diving. Maybe it is the bungee jumping. What are those 5 things? And write those down and draw a picture, make a vision board. I mean, there's so many things that you can do besides just write it out. Writing's really good, but also see what art you can make with it, right? So I hope that these exercises helped you. I hope that this YouTube series is helping you. You are amazing. You are fantastic. Have a beautiful day.